Hello and welcome back to our mega comparison of luxury SUV plug-in hybrids and luxury SUV pure electrics. This time around, on my left you have the Audi e-tron 2020. On my right you have the Jaguar I-Pace, both full electric. Very similar price ranges, almost identical specs. So the Audi e-tron is 400 horses, 95 kilowatt-hour battery. The range in ideal conditions around 400 kilometers. Same basically for the I-Pace, also all-wheel drive, 400 horsepower and about 400 kilometer range, 90 kilowatt-hour battery. The differences are the Audi is basically a larger SUV. It offers some of the options that the Jaguar doesn't offer. As you can see, it sits a little bit taller there. Right now, the air suspension on both is positioned in the lowest position, and the Audi is still taller, and it's actually a bigger car. The Audi offers a glass panorama sunroof that actually opens, where the Jaguar has a fixed glass roof. The Jaguar is more unique looking. It's more aerodynamic. It's actually faster by a full second, so 0 to 100 in the Jaguar I-Pace is about 4.5 seconds, where the Audi is 5.5 seconds. So the Jaguar is the higher performance vehicle of the two. And so right now on the 2020s, the Audi is offering 2 years free fast charging on the Electrify Canada and Electrify America networks, as well as 1,500 home charger credit. So the I-Pace would be more emotional choice, where the Audi would be more kind of a reasonable choice. The Jaguar is definitely much more unique looking. It's more of a crossover than an SUV, and they both drive differently. We'll show you the inside. You may have seen already our previous video of the Jaguar I-Pace. They both have the 3 screens inside, one for main behind the wheel, the center screen, and then a third one is for the climate, and it's basically a very similar setup in both cars. In terms of the trunk space, again, because Audi is a bigger vehicle, you have bigger trunk in the Audi than in the Jaguar I-Pace. So anyways, let's take them both on the road now to compare how they drive and to show you some of the interior features of the car. We are inside the Jaguar I-Pace electric car. This is the HSE EV400 version. So this HSE fully loaded comes almost to 120,000. However, the S version starts at 86.5. The base HSE is just under 198,000 or so. So the basic specs are 394 horsepower with a 90 kilowatt-hour battery, 4.8 seconds to 100 acceleration. You have 3 screens. This first one here is basically set for climate, dual zone. Then you have the seats, which basically you can heat or cool. You can see here now they are both heating. Or you can set the temperature for cooling. You can have one of them cooling and the other one heating. Center screen is for entertainment and the main functions, and then you have the digital screen dashboard right here as well. So what we want to show you now is the different driving modes as well. So basically you have the button here, up and down. The basic mode, if you look at the screen here, we're going to change this. Right now, the first one is Eco mode. Okay, the second one, when you go down, it's Comfort. The third one is Dynamic. Okay, and the screen changes. There's a fourth mode if you go all the way up. It's called ADSR. That's basically slippery winter mode, difficult conditions. The maximum today is -8, even though the car shows -2 because we've been sitting in the sun for a while. The actual ambient temperature outside is -8 or -15 with the wind chill. So that's going to affect the range as with all electric cars. All right, so the nice thing is for you to know that the creep mode can be turned off or on. And another feature that can be turned off or on is the artificial engine sounds. So now we're just getting on the highway in dynamic mode. You can hear the artificial engine sounds, hopefully. So we'll try and pass this truck soon. Oh yes, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to hear it in this video. Now in the high regen, which makes it similar to i3 and Tesla, not quite as strong, but the car stops itself, okay, which Tesla doesn't. The regen doesn't. You still have to press the brake button to stop the car. This one will, just like the i3, will stop completely without touching the brake pedal. So all in all, this car, it's a great electric car. Jaguar was the first to come out after Tesla, of course, with a full electric SUV. It has since been followed by Audi with the e-tron, Mercedes with EQC, and very soon BMW with iX3. As you may know by now, by the time this video is published, we were hesitating between these two cars, plus there was a third option, actually a fourth option. With the four options were Polestar 2, which is coming was supposed to come this July of 2020. Mercedes EQC, which was supposed to come this year, but now it's been delayed by a year. So our choices were narrowed down basically to these two electric SUVs, the Jaguar I-Pace and Audi e-tron. As you know, the Model Y would have been our perhaps choice if it wasn't for the mishap with our Model 3. As you may have heard, we have returned it to Tesla. They bought it back from us because it turned out to be a lemon. So we just wanted to take advantage of this opportunity and get a different kind of EV. So again, we're comparing Jaguar I-Pace with Audi e-tron. We're sitting inside our Audi e-tron, which is going to be our long-termer. So expect more reviews of this car as the time progresses. We'll be brutally honest about our experience with this one, just like we were with the Tesla and other electric cars that we've had in our fleet. So far we've only had it for about a week. Let's just hit the road and we'll explain the reasons behind our final decision in terms of going with this Audi e-tron versus the Jaguar. So let's just take it on the road. Again, just to briefly explain the differences between these vehicles, they are both very similar on paper. 400 horsepower, 2 electric motors, all-wheel drive. The battery size is 90 for the Jaguar I-Pace, 95 for the Audi e-tron. However, Audi being bigger and heavier, bulkier, with less aerodynamic, the range is actually 50 kilometers less in spite of the larger battery. Some of that can be attributed to the fact that Audi has bigger buffers, and it's rumored that Audi over software updates will increase the efficiency, but also will open up more of the battery to increase the range. This is exactly what Jaguar has done with their I-Pace. The Jaguar just opened up over-the-air updates, where thus far the updates had to be done by a dealer. The Audi is capable of over-the-air, however, right now that capability has not been yet opened up. So right now you have to go back to the dealer to get software updates. We're going back next week for a software update and some other minor recalls. So basically you have a choice of the faster, lighter, smaller Jaguar I-Pace. It's faster by half a second from 0 to 100. It also has the EV range longer by about 50 kilometers. So instead of the 350 kilometers you get in this Audi, you get about 400 in the Jaguar I-Pace. So to us, the decision came down to pretty much, potential reliability. We've been watching these groups for years, both the e-tron and the I-Pace. We believe that, the Audi should be more reliable. We'll find out if that's true. The Audi is bigger, more practical, sits taller, so it's a taller driving position, especially when you set it in all-road. As you can notice, we're in a higher position now. It's called the all-road, or there's another one called the off-road. So when you go to driver select, you have off-road, all-road, efficiency, comfort, auto, and then, whoops, so let's go back. The screen changes very quickly. Dynamic and individual. So we're driving in all-road, which is the higher position. If we change it to dynamic, the suspension, which is the air suspension, it'll automatically go down to the slowest setting, and then the car is, you know, about the same height as our i3 in its tallest setting, the off-road or all-road setting. The car is about just below the height of our X5. The car comes equipped with, you know, like all the other Audis, and both Audi Q5 plug-in and this e-tron comes with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. You have to be connected through the cable for the car to activate. So right now, as you can see, we have the Waze working in the background. There's also Spotify, which I downloaded on my phone, and I'm using it to play music as well. If you choose to use the Audi Navigation, all you have to do is press this button, and instead of Waze, you get the nice satellite image of the Audi standard in-car navigation system. You can use, if you don't like the satellite images, you can just go with the standard display as well. These are basically the same screen as the Q5. This is a little bit different, and that's different. You have the climate screen, very similar to the Jaguar setup, the 3 screens, the climate screen, the navigation screen, and the main screen over here. This particular model, which is a Progressive, which is a base model, does not come with head-up display. The more expensive Technique model comes with a head-up display. Also, our car comes with 20-inch rims, where the Technique gets 21-inch rims. The Audi does not offer anything beyond the 21, but some people have been putting 22s on them. The car is capable of accepting 22-inch rims. That being said, you know, with the potholes we have in Toronto, the ride would be rough, and you would be damaging your rims all the time and scraping them. So we're not sure if down the road we might upgrade to 21s for the summer and keep the 20s for the winter tires. Right now, we're just gonna enjoy this new car ownership. We've only had it for about a week. We already drove about 2,000 kilometers on it in less than 2 weeks. Some of the reasons, again, to go back to the reasons behind choosing the e-tron for us over the I-Pace. You have the, blind spot monitoring, and it flashes on the inside of the mirror. There's a light that flashes. The car comes standard with lane keep assist, and it's not a full auto steer. It's just a lane keep assist where it's going to prompt you back to your lane. Jaguar system is very similar to that. So in terms of the safety systems, they're very comparable. For us, it came down to the size of the car, the higher riding position of the car. Also in Canada, the e-tron does come with a tow package, and I-Pace does not. So in Europe, you can get a tow hitch package for the I-Pace, but not in Canada. So in Canada, only the e-tron can get a tow hook. So that was another reason for us. Again, if you're looking from the pure perspective of performance and range, the Jaguar I-Pace is a winner. It's faster, and it has a longer range. Although, again, with several updates, and if Audi opens up more of the battery capacity, so right now you have 95 total for 86 usable. So it's using about 90% of its battery capacity for driving. So if they open up more of that, then decrease the buffers on the battery, you may see the range increase as well. Also, as you know, through software updates, the efficiency of the car can be improved as well. Our consumption on the car, when it was cold, well below zero, our consumption was in the high 20s, low 30s. Now that it's been a little bit warmer, this morning it was plus 12, then it just went down to 8 degrees. This morning we were able to do low 20s kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. Right now we're back up to about 27. We tend to drive in sport or dynamic mode. There's an efficiency mode, obviously, which gives you less acceleration power and will allow you to drive longer distances. So when we are driving long distances, like to our lake house then we put it most of the time in the efficiency mode so that make sure that we can get farther. As we get to learn the car more, we're more confident about using heavier foot and dynamic mode most of the time versus efficiency, etc., because we know the car's limits. We know how accurate the gasometer is in terms of estimating the range versus the actual real life range. So right now, with the consumption that we've had, we can honestly say that the gasometer on the car is pretty accurate. So the 350 is very realistic. You can get the consumption down to just around the 20 kilowatt-hour per 100 kilometers level if you drive carefully, without stop-and-go traffic, without the climate, and in warmer temperatures. The range effect of the climate, as in any electric car, is similar. If you turn the heater on, the cabin heater, plus the seat heaters and the steering wheel heat, which this car has. By the way, I think we did mention in one of our previous videos that in the Audi e-tron, if you want to have the full auto steer versus just lane keep assist, you cannot have heated steering wheel with a full auto steer for some reason. That's kind of how the Audi has structured it. We only have lane keep assist, which means that the system prompts us back to the lane. And then if you bounce twice, you get a big warning on the center screen that you have to take over steering immediately. But we would rather have, personally, steering wheel heater instead of the full auto steer. As you know, when we had the Model 3, we used autopilot, and we paid and got the autopilot. At that time, you had to pay extra. I think it was around $3,000. So we paid for it, we got it. And we even had the full self-driving for about a month on a trial period. We decided not to go for it. And for us, it was a good decision. Honestly, I don't care that much about the full self-driving, especially that it's still very limited, or it was very limited when we owned the car. So here, we're perfectly happy with the lane keep assist and all the other adaptive cruise functions. Every time we go up to the lake house along the 400 and then Highway 27 or Highway 93, we basically put it in adaptive cruise, and you just cruise to your destination. So it's very helpful. And so these are some of the main reasons that we decided to go for the Audi e-tron. We're going to have it on our fleet for the next 4 years. It's a lease. Now, this is the other thing we have to mention. We were waiting for the good deals to be available on both the I-Pace and the e-tron for the 2019 models left in stock, demos or new, but left in stock. Once 2020 arrived, the Jaguar discontinued the leasing of the car, so only Audi could be leased in 2020 for the 2019 models. So that was another reason we went for it. Both cars were heavily discounted from their starting price. The starting price for both cars is around 90,000 Canadian. For the base version without any equipment, you can spec it up easily to 110, 120 if you wish to do so. However, now for leftover 2019s, and trust me, they are going fast, you won't be able to find these deals much longer on the leftover 2019s. In fact, this was the last base progressive model that was in stock with this particular dealer, and we checked around all other dealers around Toronto. They didn't have any progressive anymore. They were all mostly fully equipped Technique models, which were, the MSRP was well over $100,000. So if you're looking for the lesser equipped and less expensive models, hit the dealerships now to try and negotiate. So we ended up getting this e-tron basically for about a price of a Model Y long range dual motor with FSD, or Model Y performance without FSD. So you can do the math. It gives you an idea. But again, number one, we didn't want to wait. Number two, after the unfortunate experience with the Model 3, we wanted to try a different EV for a change. And so far, we're really happy with our choice. So that's it. For our reasons, we encourage you to test drive both cars and compare. And if you want to wait for Model Y to compare it with the Model Y, by all means do so. Again, the Mercedes EQC will not be here until next year. So right now, these are your three choices in terms of the fully electric SUVs. And we want to take this opportunity again to thank the dealership where we purchased this or leased this Audi e-tron, the Audi Queensway, and its general manager Taylor Simmons. So thanks again for allowing us to shoot our comparison videos in your dealership, for giving us a fantastic deal on this Audi e-tron, and we look forward to servicing our car at your dealership. And as usual, please subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.